Yeah, well, that was nice popping that his eye out. He called me today, mother.
Sure he did.
Hey, Mr. Ace.
Good to see you, Ace. Good to see you.
Likewise, happy to see both of you as well. Okay. Well, I think this is gonna be really simple because I know we have a fucking amazing relationship. The current status of the tablets and the zones and the areas, if you get what I'm getting at. Can't really do much, you know what I mean? We can't really go many places. You wanna go south, you wanna go, you know what I mean, north. It's not really much to choose from. So with that said, I understand how the game works. And I feel like there's a way we can work together in Mirror Park to not step on each other's toes. So I just wanted to know what you boys thought about that.
We got big feet.
Well, we got big foot right there, Sonny.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Ace, as you know, I'm open to anything that you're thinking or you want to say, and if it works in both of our interests, I think we can make it make sense. A lot has changed recently over the last 24 hours, just given this drug stuff. I don't know if you're aware of it. So, yeah, having that conversation is definitely important for sure.
I don't know how it works all the way, but I'm understanding of the, we got to get it laced and you got to push it and people's shit goes up and it goes down, based off of people moving in certain areas. With that said, how can we avoid each other, or i.e. make it like, I don't know, a balanced system?
Well, what you have in mind, and then from there we can hopefully
do this private conversation.
We can hopefully fill in some pieces of the puzzle on how we can make that work.
I mean, okay, so you're clearly gonna push. We're clearly gonna push an area, right? Once I put the table down, back where it was, because there's no other fucking houses. We were trying to get a house that moved a little bit further away from you guys so that our zones wouldn't overlap. I need to take a peek again. Yeah, rooftop access. Let me take a peek one more time. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, ours is bro. It's pretty much fucking right on top of each other.
Right on top of you.
Well, I mean, for the most part, they all are, right? I mean, there's no way you can go in Mirror Park and get away from somebody else's territory.
Right. So I don't want to do. Okay. How we're gonna handle it with everybody else, you know what that means. I don't care about anybody else in that area. Just you guys. They'll get dealt with accordingly. Whoever else is moving in that area.
We're kind of the same mindset.
I don't want to ruin a relationship over some shit that I think we can figure out with you guys. So I don't have all the answers right now, but I just know I would like to figure something out.
Okay. So your current dilemma obviously is your limitations as the location, and because we're so close, given the nature of it, you want to make sure that it's not going to fuck over us or fuck over yourselves and vice versa.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
So let me paint a picture as to what's going on with the drugs, and hopefully this will help clear things up, and then maybe I have a solution that I have to talk to somebody about. I don't know if it's the solution you're looking for, but it's a possible one. Otherwise, we'll have to figure something out.
Okay.
Over the last 24 hours and the next 24 hours, a lot we think is going to change, or the way people are moving is going to change. Drugs have now have been to the point where people are able to push stuff on the streets. We found out that as you push and create these drugs, it benefits your own rep. And if you push drugs in other people's territory, it pushes their rep down. Did some science and some testing on this already, and that's how it's happened. Now, we've seen and confirmed that other people have pushed other people down with selling drugs. And we have seen our own drugs being pushed, have pushed people down. So it's gonna be a pretty fucking bloody business, and I would say anybody who doesn't think there's gonna be war or bloodshed is naive. So that being said, those of the people that have the drugs already are at an advantage, so to speak, because they can start to breed addiction levels all over the place. Now, we don't have all the pieces of the puzzle as to how this works. This is just a little bit that we've seen that we feel like is the case. That being said, in 19 hours, give or take, there's access to these rooms on your tablet. I'm sure you've seen them before, where it says your gang didn't meet the criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple questions I have. I don't know how exactly everything operates, everything works. First and foremost, who gets access to these rooms? Is it only the people in the very top, like the top 3 or 4 gangs throughout the city? That includes both storms. Or is it only separated by storm? If that's the case, there are only 2 gangs in the Kiwi Storm. And those 2 gangs in the Kiwi Storm don't really have to compete with anybody. They don't have to worry about being in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd place because they're going to get access to the rooms no matter what. You know, each storm has its own pros and cons. This storm is a pain in the ass because you got to wait 4 to 5 hours at least before you get a certain job. I think the other storm, you know, they're suffering for maybe not enough cops being in the city to police the things that need to happen. So the grass isn't always greener, but no side is perfect. What I do know is if it's based off of storm alone, and it's like the top 5 gangs or 3 gangs or whatever, if it's just the Eagle Storm that gets access to those rooms with those gangs, then it's a heavy competition. But if it's, you know, just the Kiwi Storm, then there's low competition. Somebody can slide in and get access to the benefits without having to be very competitive in the market. And those addiction zones and those turf are individual based off storm as well. So one potential solution, and it might not be the solution you want to hear, but it also could provide massive benefits, is to operate in the Kiwi Storm. We wouldn't be stepping on each other's toes, and you'd be immediately in the top 3 gangs, potentially getting access to these rooms, because in 19 hours, we're going to find out what happens. Now, we also don't know in 19 hours if your gang turf resets, because there are some theories that your week that you put in work over a week period is the time that you have to grow your turf and then sell or do whatever you need to do on your turf. Like your reputation might not stay the same, but your gang level might stay the same, making it easier for the next week to then grow your turf greater fast. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll have more tools at your disposal to grow that turf again, to then push again. We don't know.
Okay.
So there's still a lot of questions to this piece of the puzzle, but we do know that's how things are currently operating, and these are the questions we have. The second solution is we have a house on Brogue that currently isn't necessarily being used, that we could potentially, if I can talk to the guy and he's willing, let you guys set up shop there, transfer the name into one of you guys or however you want to do it, and have you guys operate out of Brogue. Which would alleviate possibly, you know, making sure that that's not happening. Now, as the location is where it directly resides in the, you know, the mess that is the south side, I don't know. You know, like I said, just might not be the solution you're looking for, but a possibility, given something we would be willing to do or discuss. So that's pretty much where I'm at with it. I don't know if any situation is perfect, but the way I see it is the Kiwi Storm, these guys have 2 gangs. And if it's the top 5 or 3 gangs that get access to certain benefits because of this room shit, because the way I see it is if it was just about turf, we wouldn't have a number attached to our turf, but we do. So there's some type of competitive factor that, you know, somebody's going to get benefits. And that tablet says that you know, didn't meet the criteria for this week. So in my mind, that means it's going to be like the top, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 gangs that have access to these rooms, and whatever these rooms do, you know, we'll see. I just don't know if that's overall through both storms or if that's separated by storm, which would make more sense.
Okay. Well, I gotta obviously go and speak to everybody about that. I don't know. The Kiwi thing, I don't know because I don't know if we have enough people to even operate within that time frame.
Understandable. Yeah, understandably.
Okay, well, what we can do now is talk about if the worst comes to worst. I'm not wanting it to, but I'm just saying if worst comes to worst, what is it? You know what I mean?
Okay, so let's say that the decision is you stay exactly where you are, and we stay exactly where we are, and obviously the circles are going to overlap. There's nothing avoiding that. That could be good, and that could be bad. Obviously, I don't see for there to be a way for you guys to avoid potentially selling in our circle, unless we all sold in Shadow Circle on the far west. That's the only way that I could see is if we, went to the far west side or whatever, and Shadow Circle potentially overlaps certain sections that goes into the city, into the industrial district. And maybe there's some opportunity there for locals to be sold, where that, in that industry area in the southwest, there's a lot of locals that travel on that street where like Pizza This might be, and etc.
Does it benefit us if we sell on other people's stuff?
Yes and no. This is what we're trying to figure out. The way I see it with the drugs, I would think that I would want everybody in my own circle to be addicted to my product. But the logic behind that doesn't make sense because why would you want to manufacture and sell the drug in the same area? That just seems like you're asking for the cops to jump on your ass and then find out where you're manufacturing said drugs. If it's only being sold in that area, how does that work? Now, from what we understand, if you sell in your own area, it doesn't push your rep down, but it might push other people's down if they're in that area as well. So I don't know for sure, but we're pretty sure that CLQ had 25 points at one time. And we think that when we started selling and we were in the area, we pushed theirs down by 3 points. And I'm almost positive, from what I've heard from Boost to KTB, seeing KTB's numbers go down because CG was selling on Grove and pushed their turf down.
I saw theirs go down a bunch. That was like 190 or something like that. I'm pretty sure they're down to like 150, 140.
Yeah, they're currently at 123.
Damn.
So
holy hell.
And that could be also because Hades is selling in that area and pushing it down. You never know. So the south side is fucked, truly, just based off of what's going on. And the Mir Park is fucked because it's not big enough and there's just too many people in it. So I think those that have access to start doing stuff now are going to take advantage and they're going to start pushing other people down. And I don't think there's any way around that. Especially, because you'd want to make sure that the people in your turf are addicted to your drug and not somebody else's. At the same time, like I said, I don't understand how that makes sense. Why would you want to sell drugs in the same area that you're manufacturing it? But if you're trying to protect, make sure your turf didn't go down, you'd want the addiction from other people in your area to be to your drug and not somebody else's, so it's harder for them to sell. At least that's the way I see it. At the same time, if you push in somebody else's, you might be pushing it down, but you would have their circle addicted to your drug, and it would be harder for them to sell on their own block.
No, it doesn't matter who manufactures the drug potentially. Like, say, for example, we was to push your shit somewhere else.
See, now that is smart, and I don't know, because
how would that work?
That I truly don't know, and I don't know if that's been tested yet. If we were to swap drugs and you pushed our product and our turf, it would get them addicted to our stuff, and maybe it wouldn't do that. Vice versa, if we pushed your stuff and your turf or other people's turf, it would be addicted to your drug. Fortunately, there's too many questions and too many variables that we currently have. We're just operating of the little that we know, having just gotten started in this drug.
Speculating.
So, am I praying that they open up more housing markets all over the place? Yeah, definitely. I think for everybody. At the same time, I think that the future is going to be quite a lot of bloodshed as some of these smaller gangs start to get pushed out. They're going to lash back and try to do whatever they can to hold down their turf or what's left of it. That being said, if they don't have access to drugs, then, they're going to be in trouble. And there's pros and cons with a lot of things. Like, for example, us selling in Mirror Park, we don't make a lot of money, like I told you. But us selling
Yeah, it's
in
like $60.
exactly, in us selling Vespucci, we make 2 times or 3 times that amount, like 150, 180. The problem is this: as people know that, and if you move your shit to Vespucci and then becomes turf over in Vespucci, and they know they can make more money, what's to say every fucking gang doesn't go over to Vespucci because there's more people to sell to, and then start selling in your turf to push it down, get them addicted to their drug because they can make more money and they have access to that market now. So we've even considered fucking, instead of going to Vespucci, going to Polito, because at that same time, no one's going to go all the way up there to push their drug. And, you know, you won't have to worry about people pushing your shit down, and they won't have that market of higher sales to be enticed to go selling your stuff to push it down. So, I mean,
I think it's gonna be fucked regardless, though, if they release the market slowly. If they just open up a small section, you know, for to buy houses in a new place, I think everyone's gonna have the same fucking sheep mentality and buy the. It's I think it's just gonna be create the same problem unless they open up multiple avenues of places to go.
it depends, because if everything gets reset in 19 hours, you know, you look at the rooms tab, you can see it's 16 hours and 30 minutes. If everything does get reset and everyone's turf goes back to the original size, then it would entice more people to just pick up their table and move to where they want to go. But we don't know what's going to happen. The next 16 and a half hours, we'll find out. We'll have more pieces of the puzzle. But, you know, we understand how every hour and second counts depending on situations. But you really want to avoid getting pushed on by people. You really want to avoid stepping on someone's toes or being in a position where people are selling on your turf. The Kiwi Storm is the answer to that. That's the truth. Because there's only 2 gangs. It's low barrier to entry, so you can get in and get a room if it is the top 3 or top 4, whatever. You know, you could be at 10 fucking points with no rep, and there's only 2 gangs, and if it's the top 3, you're in. You get access to some special thing, but we don't know that either. We don't know in 16 hours if it's the top 3 overall between both storms, if it's just the top, you know, per storm. I don't know. No idea.
Okay.
And
So
I mean,
night
to be
bas-
fair, Ace, you know, that's the luxury that we have because we want to do right by you, of course. We'll be able to find out through each other how a lot of this stuff navigates. And that's kind of a luxury that we don't share with a lot of people. So it's going to be very informative over the next week or so as we find out exactly how this thing works moving forward. And that'll probably better gauge how we can kind of navigate this and make sure that we remain close friends. You know me.
Yeah. I am down for that. Okay. So basically 19 hours, we'll have a little bit of the answer.
Yeah, 16 and a half hours, give or take. I think it's like 5 p.m. CST tomorrow is when that changes for a week of a full turf to find out if it's the top 3 in each storm or if it's the top 3 overall, if turf gets reset,
Rico, where you at?
etc. Like with it, that will answer a lot of those questions. But bottom line, as it stands, as far as drugs, from what we've seen, if you push your drug in somebody else's territory, you're breeding your drug's addiction in that territory, and you're also pushing their rep down.
Rico, where you at?
Gotcha. Okay.
So just for example, like say we're selling, like this is something we should test out too. So we see how like there's some territories that are overlapping. If we stand in the middle of both of them and push, see which one, like does it do both territories? Like how does that work? Like so that's something to, you know, for food.
We can answer that. So if you look at the map, if you have access to it, we started selling today in Mirror Park and made sure that it was in our turf, but the section that we started selling in also overlapped with CLQ. Now, like I said, I don't know exactly what their points was, but I believe it was 25. And it looked like the only people that were being affected by us selling in that area was CLQ. So maybe it targets the lowest first and pushes them down, and then goes for the next lowest and so on.
Okay.
But the only people that seemed to be affected by us pushing the drugs, where it was like potentially a 3 or 4 overlap, was CLQ.
Okay. Okay. This is a good intro. I think things will end up being I think things will work themselves out at the end of the day. I guess in your long-term plans, you guys want to move as soon as it's possible, or
Well, I mean, this drug stuff is enlightened us a lot. I think that nobody really wants to stay in Mirror Park, and that
Okay.
the reason for that is because if you have the opportunity to have a more defendable base that gives you access to more locals to sell to make more money per sale, it would make sense. But at the same time, you don't want to be the target that everybody decides is going to go after just because you have a turf in that area where they can do the exact same thing and push your shit down. So does that mean we'd be heading to Fudge Lane, or does that mean we'd be heading to Polito or Vespucci? We don't know yet. I think right now we're just making what we have work, and when the housing market opens up for more opportunities, then eventually we'll find somewhere we want to put down roots, and then stay there, right? But do we know exactly what that's going to be yet? I don't know. Would that end up being Mia Park? No fucking idea. It just depends on how things play out.
so this is my suggestion. Then I think we are of the same mindset. I mean, because it's just kind of like here or there. We don't really want to settle in Mirror Park permanently either. So, if there's nothing we can do about not fucking each other over at some point, right? I would say we need to strategically sell at that point to make sure we have enough rep to do whatever we need to do for each other. Everybody else, we can wipe them out if we need to together. We won't fuck with y'all. Y'all don't fuck with us. If we need to give y'all some of our product, vice versa, to remove other people for the time being, and so be it. But I just want to make sure we're all able to do things we need to do through that current system. And then when it's time to pick up and go, we can pick up and go. Then that's when it becomes more serious because you're going to move where you want to move permanently. Does that sound?
Yeah, I think I
sound
can.
good?
TK, I don't know about you, but I can get on board with that. I don't see a problem with that
I
whatsoever.
I as well.
We got no ties to anybody inside Mia Park, whether it comes to Undefined or COQ or Shadow. I mean, we have a conversation that's being formed with Shadow tomorrow. They did help us out today, in the nature of transparency. But as far as where my loyalties lie to anybody close, it's definitely you over anyone else. So if I was going to help somebody or pick somebody, it would definitely be the 5-star felons.
Okay.
And I would say the same.
Perfect. Then,
Yeah, perfect.
That being said,
Away,
though,
sorry.
I do think that whatever conversation you're going to have, given this information, factor in talking about it
Eddie,
after
where
the
you at?
storm. Because if you can take a look at that map, and it is potentially, like I said, in the next 16 hours, a low barrier to entry to get, some, like, for example, let's say everybody wants fucking class 2s, right? Let's say the top 3 fucking gangs in the city, whatever these rooms are, give you access to class 2s. We are competing tooth and nail with everybody else around us just to stay in that conversation. But if there's only 2 gangs in the next storm, and you guys become the third by not even having to do much or compete against much, and you're still getting access to something like class 2s, I mean, we would even consider potentially going to the other storm. So, like I said, we'll know more in the next 16 and a half hours, but all of these things should definitely be considered if it's not just overall, both storms, top 3, top 5, whatever, but if it's per storm kind of thing, it's definitely something to factor in.
Okay. All right. So, only thing that matters now is time. We'll let it go by. When it's time, we'll reconvene, right?
Yeah, definitely. You call us, we'll answer. Bottom line.
I got you. Okay. All right. Unless you boys got anything for us, we are gonna hit the motherfucking road.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
coming.
I
I'm
think
coming.
I'm good. I appreciate
We got one more
Chase.
thing for you
Does
individually,
anybody know
Ace.
where Eddie's at?
Okay. Talk to me. Or
So,
you need to step off? Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't care if you guys want to be invited as well. So basically, on Friday, we plan to hold an event for our family. The last time you did a concert for us, we're hoping to do the same thing. We happen to have it at the top of the casino roof here. I figured I would pay you a flat fee. You could get whatever artist you wanted to perform, whether that's Yellow Bear or Baby K or anybody else you feel like is, good, basically. So yeah, it'd be same time. It'd be 9 Eastern. We'd probably be about 30 minutes after, maybe 45 minutes tops. And we're gonna have people come in on 3 different helicopters, and those people are gonna parachute onto the fucking roof where you'll be waiting, and then you'll perform a concert, whether that's you or Baby K or whoever you get. But
Okay.
big event like last time, a celebration for our family, that kind of thing. Where we'll have like food provided, drinks provided, all that kind of stuff.
Sounds good. I'll get it set up.
Okay, and we'll talk over the next couple days for price, who's going to be involved, all that kind of stuff. Make sure we hammer out the time, but it should be around 30 minutes after to 45 minutes after 9 p.m. CST. I mean EST.
Okay. And you just want one other, or?
I mean,
Does-
look, we always love your music. If you want to perform, that's great. If you want to get other people involved, like Yellow Bear, Baby K, or just whoever you know that you're close with, to try to mix things up and share the love. As long as we're covering that like 20-ish, 25 minutes or whatever that you kind of did last time, same deal.
Okay. All right, bet. That's easy. I'll probably get like 2 other guys, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Well, I will see y'all tomorrow.
Yeah, and as we get more information, we can have these conversations going forward too.
Yes, sir.
Kind of let you know what we find out.
Okay. Vice versa.
The guy made it.
Oh, Lord. Let's go check. All right, y'all.
Hey, we
All
appreciate
right,
the conversation and the time, as always.
Anytime, every time, my brother.
Yeah, you too, Paisan.